Hey guys, what is up? Today we're going to be building a new BMX racing bike, and today we have Brad Greer here. He used to be an expert, has really good potential for racing. He knows a ton about bikes, so he'll be helping me build it today. In the background, that is Brad's bike. Two of them are, the park and the racing bike, and that's also his Supercross frame in the background. So today we'll be using parts that's going to make the bike look clean and make it dialed. Before we start building, we're going to go over the parts and give a description about what they are and what they do. This video will be made into multiple videos like how to build tires, how to put on a headset, and how to put on a frame, and all that. Before we get into this build, I want to thank Brad for his time to help me build this bike and to help me film it. I also want to thank my sponsor for helping me get these parts. But now before we're going to get into this build, and see you guys on the other side of the camera.
Coming in. Okay, guys. Yeah, here's the wheels, and these are really something special. Who built these wheels?
LB's BMX did.
Okay, very cool. So these are the 36-hole Sun Envy hoops. Okay, so we're taking the front tire out now. Just rip it.
Yeah, just rip it.
So this is for anybody that's looking for the size. Why don't you open that up, Caleb? So it's called the Mac 2 Dirt. Some guys will run them in the front and the rear, but we like to just run a bigger one in the front. So it's a 20 by 2 is what it says right there, 20 by 2, and then the rear is a little bit smaller, and that's a 20 by 1.5. So we're just getting these guys ready. We're gonna let them relax a little bit. As you can see, they kind of, because they are folding, they kind of like oil can back and forth. So we'll pop that back in the bag down there, let that kind of relax, and we're gonna get the tubes ready and show you guys how to mount up the tubes and the tires, because this is something that can confuse a lot of people, and I wanted to show you in this build. Caleb's done a whole bunch. I've literally done thousands of these, working in 3 different bike shops over the course of 10 years. So there's a right way to do it, and then there's a lot of other ways to do it. I'm going to show you guys the right way. All right, Caleb, so what are you doing right now?
Pumping up the tires so it gets its form, just a couple PSI.
Yeah, she's putting just a few pumps into this tube, just so it gets a round, so it goes round, and then we can get it into the tire shell real easy. A little bit more maybe. We can always let it out. What kind of valve is that?
It's a Schrader valve.
Okay, so for any of you guys that want to know, the Schrader valves are like the car style valve. It's kind of hard for me to do this while I'm holding the camera, but that's how it is. So it's just like your standard car valve. There's Presta. There's a couple different ones. The Presta ones are smaller. You see those on a lot of minis. So he's going to pop it off. Okay, so we got a few PSI in that one, so we're going to do the next one now. And the reason this is so important is because if you don't have if he tried right now to put that inside of the tire and then tried to literally close up the tire over the rim, there's really no way. I mean, it could happen, but you're hoping that it's going to unfold and untwist when you're filling it up, and you don't want to destroy, $100 tire and tube combo. Yep. And these are a 20 by 1.5 inch tube, and it says 1.95 also, so you can use this for the front of the rear. That's the diameter that it's safe for. Okay, so we've got them both ready to go. What we're going to do now is we're going to take Caleb and have him grab the front. I'll actually take this rim, have him grab the front tire, which is going to be the dirt tire. If you want to hold it, I'll actually show you guys just the way that I've always done it. So you want a clean work area. And then I actually would always get a little bit picky. My buddies were kind of busting up about this, but what I would do is I'd always put the valve like where the wording's at, so I knew where it was at, and it would always be the same on every single bike. So you'll see I kind of push it in. So it has a few PSI in it, right like that. And I'm gonna actually make that orange spot right where I want it to be. So that's gonna be right there. I'm going to take the rim, and the rim, is the rim directional? well, the hub is really lengthy. It could be directional. So how we're gonna do it is we're gonna do it to where if you were to look at it facing forward, you'll see the profile hub. Another way to know what's forward and back on a hub set is to actually look at the rear. We can pull the rear up right now. So I was wrong. This is the drive side. So this is going to be your right foot, and you want the rider to see the labeling. So that's how we're going to do this one. We're going to have the rider seeing the labeling. And you would say, well, why is that important? Well, this tire is directional. So if you see this tire, this rim, I'm looking for the hole in the rim. There it is. And essentially, this is how it's going to go on. But one thing, real quick, what are we missing here, Caleb?
We gotta put electrical tape on the top.
We're looking for a rim strip. That's a cool trick. What we're going to do is we're actually going to use, instead of using an elastic rim strip, we're going to use electrical tape. So real quick, I'll come back with some electrical tape. Sweet. All right, so this is not the orthodox way of doing it, but most people, I've done this countless times. So what you do is you start kind of on one edge is what I normally like to do, one side of the rim. And this is important because if you look here, feel that, what does that feel like? It's pretty sharp, huh?
Yeah.
So it doesn't cut, the tube doesn't cut into it.
Your second one.
Yeah, how do I know? Well, I'm feeling these and see they're not feel it. Is it sharp anymore?
Nope.
Yep. So that's pretty good sign. But you want to cover up the back side of the holes for the spokes, because if you don't, like if one of those is jagged, you'll punch a hole in that tube because the tube presses on there with pounds and pounds and pounds of pressure. So I go around one more time, just for good measure. I'm not saying that you have to go around 3 times, but I'm just doing that because I don't want to see like lumps in there. Okay, so that's it. I'm gonna call it right there, and then Caleb's actually gonna grab me our razor blade. All right, so I need the razor blade. He's got one, very cool. All right, guys, if you're at home doing this, have an adult or a parent or somebody that can do this, do it for you. All right, so we did that with a box cutter. So now I got it laid down, looks great. Last thing we gotta do is find the hole for the valve. So if you look right there, I can kind of feel it right there. There's a lot of different ways of doing this. I'm going to cut it. So I'm gonna press it in. I'm actually gonna use this right here. This is the cap, and I'm gonna kind of just indent it. There we go. And really carefully, I'm just gonna come in here. Gotta have a good razor blade if you do this. And you don't want to cut it wrong, because if you do, you risk making it jagged, the rim, or you risk putting a chop in the electrical tape and then it loses its strength. So that's a pretty good cut. There we go, beautiful. And it's very thick, you can see it looks great. So now next step is the rider is going to be reading the font, not the person in front of the bike. So this is an arrow facing forward, if you can look at those tread patterns. So what we're gonna do is start at the valve, push the valve in. I sometimes would do this. I'm gonna do it this case because I need all the help I can get. These folding tires are super hard to slip over. So I walk one side on, guys, not both sides. I'm just slowly pulling one side on. Yeah, that side went on okay. Okay, so cool, we got it right where we need it to be. Then we come in here, and what are we looking for, Caleb, when we put our hands in there? We're just looking for dirt, folds.
Anything that could pop it.
Yep, and then we slowly walk down the new side. The opposite side. And I kind of, you can see like I'm just working it really slow. I will say it's probably about 70 degrees in here, and that makes it a lot easier to work. But going slow, boom, it's on. Now, Caleb, if you want to do the honors, you can actually put some PSI in there.
All right, I'm gonna go grab a pump.
Oh yeah, let's do it. Show us how to put that pump on there. All right, so I'm pressing down here to keep the valve from falling in.
Yeah, like that. I think you should pop it on like that.
Caleb gets it seated. And remember one thing too, you know this, but it's really bad to like put a whole bunch of weight on there because you can actually break the valves. Have you ever done that yet?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude.
That's why I had that old rim that bent when I did that 360.
Big problem. All right, so he's just gonna slowly put some PSI in it. And one thing I'm gonna have him do is he's gonna walk around, and while he's filling this thing up, he's gonna literally be watching the lip to make sure everything's seating in properly. And this is just gonna be part of the video. He's gonna make some how-tos maybe with some of these clips, so not everything's gonna be in our bike build video. But if you come and check out Caleb's channel, you can also go to his other little videos and learn a lot and see some cool riding and stuff. It's great. Little trick from the old school. So what I would do on tires I really care about, Caleb's gonna hold that. I would seat the tire. And what seating the tire is going like this. Just rolling it and making sure that that little line is not bulging out past the lip of the rim, because if it does, big problem. It'll blow up in your face, and I've had a bunch of them blow up in my face over the years. So right now we got a few pounds of pressure in there. I'm gonna have Caleb take them up. How many pounds of pressure can go in these things, Caleb? Do you know? Does it say?
Oh, you'll find it on here if you look. And right here it's 120.
Wow, 120 psi. So that's gonna, these things are gonna literally be like golf balls.
Yep.
They're gonna, but that's how
Makes you faster though.
Yep, that's absolutely true. Okay, let's hook it back off and finish filling it. He's doing this with a hand pump too, guys, because some of you guys have air compressors at home, or you have family that has air compressors. And the thing about, you gotta be careful with air compressors is, if you have like an industrial one, like a large one, it fills the tire way too fast. So you'll go from having, 5 pounds in it to having 70, and that's not a great idea when you're trying to watch it. Because right now, like, Caleb's watching the whole lip and stuff, and he's making sure nothing pops off. So he's taking it up slow. Oh yeah. Let's look at his gauge. So he's got it set. He wants to get it to like 80 or 90, and he's got it right now at 60. And don't be afraid, guys, too. Like, if you hear like tinging, what do you think that's from? That is, though, is that pinging is all the pressure from that tube.
Is that good? Like
how much is in there? 60. 60 will work, but I would run these. Look, listen, guys, listen. Turbo did them right, but they're getting comfortable, so the spokes are kind of moving around. That's why air pressure is important, right, Caleb?
Yeah.
Okay, we got like 63 psi in there. Let's knock this thing off, and we'll do the next one. Just yank it. There you go. Yeah, that's enough. All right, this one's set. Okay, let's do the next one. So Caleb's actually going to do the next one. We're going to switch places here. I'm going to put this rim in the box. All right, Caleb's going to show you guys how to electric tape this. He's got his own little way he's going to do it, similar to mine. What do you prefer, Caleb? Do you prefer the rubber strips, or do you like the electric tape more?
Electric tape more.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it definitely does save money, and you can get a roll of this stuff for pretty cheap. Third revolution.
It's not completely straight, like, at all.
Doesn't matter though, for the most part, as long as there's no like jagged like pieces of metal that are up. And these rims are super great. The Sun rims are awesome. I mean, I've had Envies on my bike over here. I'm actually going to go over while he's doing that. I've had these Envies on this bike probably since 2012, I would assume. So I'm assuming it's probably been better part of 10 years.
So that's gonna be it for today. We did do the rims, and that is gonna be a separate video. And right now, there's a picture on the screen, which is me on Brad's bike. Very dialed bike, love it. And so this was the rims video and the tire video. I know it cut off my part in doing it because little malfunction in the camera, but you saw how to do it when Brad did it, and that's the right way to do it. So I'll see you guys in the next video.